Yo people, it's your boy Tapping Tobes here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm joined here by my twin brother Tosin. So you know what time it is. The last time he came on my channel, what was it? It's the North London Derby. It's the same fixture again, only in reverse. We are right outside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well. Deep in the heart of Tottenham, obviously. Tosin, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Yeah.
After that, nice
Top of the
bit
league?
Peppers and spice.
That wasn't peppers and spice.
It was peppers and spice I had.
Oh, you had peppers and spice?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
People, peppers and spice sucks. Yeah, if you're watching this, peppers and spice sucks. If you want proper Caribbean food, go to Jerk Centre and get the
Surely
jerk
you'd want
pork
them
and
to
chips.
endorse this.
I'm joking. Peppers and spice is all right. Listen, but we're not here to talk about Caribbean food. We're here to talk about football. And we're here to talk about Tottenham versus Arsenal, right? Bro, you're flying high, man. I think the last time we did this video, it was first versus third. 2 points separating us. I think we were still unbeaten at that point. It was optimistic. Since then, you guys have gone from strength to strength, and we have just completely just gone all over the shop,
Gone from
right?
weakness to weakness.
Basically, yeah. And it's now first versus fifth, right?
Yeah.
Or better yet, fifth versus first. Let's talk about Arsenal first, right? Obviously, you're linked with the likes of Mudryk. You're flying high. You're top of the league. 14 wins in your first 16 games in the league. Like, what's the general mood in the Arsenal camp right now? Like, one, do you believe that you genuinely can win this title? And two, do you think that someone like Mudryk will come in and have the impact you need to push you to the edge ahead of a team like Man City?
Yeah, general mood is confident, buzzing, to be honest. And you asked me, do I believe? Not only that we can, I believe we will win the league.
Smoky
We're
talk.
gonna win
Smoky
the
talk. You heard it
title.
on camera.
And you
Boy.
asked, what was the second one? Would Modric come in and add to
Yeah. So elaborate. Like, what is it that gives you such conviction that you will win this title?
Arsenal are hungry, you know. And the truth is, Man City aren't. Man City they're not.
Big statement for a team that have won it 4 times in the last 5 years.
That's true, but I can only go based on this season. Like, you got to forget the past. The fact that Man City have won 4 titles isn't going to do much for them if they don't turn up in this title race.
Fair.
And in this title race so far, City, I'm not the only one that sees it. City don't look convincing.
There's a step missing.
Yeah, bro, like if you want, even if the home game they drew with Everton, you tell me when Pep Guardiola Man City team will give a guy like Damari Gray, who's is a premium shooter outside the box. You give him time to be able to get the ball out of his feet, set himself, and then shoot. No pressure. Like, that's weird. And it's almost like Arsenal have become this weird hybrid of the best of Liverpool and Man City this season. And City are just playing a drop off the quality that they usually play at. And it's for these reasons I believe Arsenal will win.
It's interesting because that hybrid thing, I want to scold you so badly, but like when you actually look at the football this season, it's very hard to argue it. You've got the aggressive front-footed pressing nature that both Pep and Jurgen Klopp sides have had. But when you look at the football, the 1 or 2 touch play that we've seen from Arsenal this season, it has been pretty impressive, I must admit. And more on your football, let's talk on Mudryk, right?
Yeah.
Linked with what looks to be now maybe like upwards of 85, 86 million pound move to Arsenal. Total package, that is. 21 years old. Do you believe, for starters, that this deal will get over the line? And second of all, what impact do you think he will have for Arsenal in this potential title race of yours if he is signed?
I believe we'll get him. I'll be dumbfounded. I will be absolutely shocked if we do not land him. This is the guy we wanted since the summer. This is the guy that's our main target now. I'll be shocked if we don't get him because he's going to help us win the league. He gives us another option to Saka and Martinelli in the flanks. If you look at Arsenal now, okay, yes, he's only scored against Oxford and West Ham and Brighton. And Nketiah's come in and done a decent job so far of replacing Jesus, and he's working hard off the ball. Arsenal's issue is not replacing Jesus. Arsenal's biggest issue is what do we do when Saka and Martinelli are injured. If one of those don't play well or are not on it, it affects the whole rhythm of the way we play.
That's an interesting statement because I would have looked at your team and I'm looking at the midfield. I think the midfield is problematic. If you take out Thomas Partey,
Yeah, of course.
But-
I mean, in terms of Arsenal attacking offensively, look at Newcastle. You take Saka and Martinelli out the game, yeah, Arsenal will still be the solid team pressing, harrying, but offensively, there's not really much for us if we take those two out of the game. And I only say that because that's what cost us last season. These guys were tired. Of course, we didn't have a striker.
Partey, no? He was injured.
Yeah, he was in. We had a lot of injuries, but at the same time, like offensively, we weren't really given much towards the end of last season, and we buckled under the pressure. But I think if you look at Arsenal this season, if we have able quality replacements for Saka and Martinelli at key pivotal moments towards the end of the season, you're going to see a machine of an Arsenal team.
And I think that's something that a lot of your fans have been clamouring for as well, right? Bolstering the options off the bench. Obviously, Emerson Smith-Rowe has been injured, but he's fit now, so he's someone who chipped in, got double figures in the league last year. I'm sure he's going to add. He's going to add to the options that you're asking for off the bench. But even last season, you had Martinelli, ESR, and Saka, and you missed out. And granted, Saka and Martinelli. No, exactly. Saka and Martinelli have gone up a level, right? But you need that additional attacker to come in and compete in all fronts, right?
If we can get Mudryk and someone to step in for Thomas Partey, it's game over for the title. We're winning it.
It's just a big statement. It's a very big statement.
Mudryk, yes, I'm feeling more comfortable, but if we can get a good, able replacement for Partey, I can't see past us for the title.
Big statement. But unfortunately, we're not going to spend this whole preview talking about Arsenal. We have to talk about Spurs, right? And mate, unfortunately, yes. With Spurs, I'm a bit downbeat these days. Like, this team have sort of knocked the confidence I had in them out of me, right? And they've done that through the performances, through some of the decisions and managerial performance from Conte, through the usual hierarchy above who fill our heads with all these smoke screens of, oh, this money coming in and this player coming in, and we give 60% instead of 100%, right? I almost feel envious, and it's horrible to say that because last year, toward the back end of the season, we beat you guys 3-0, we pipped you to 4th, right? Things were meant to be up, we're deciding the Champions League. This season, in the previews, we're only 2 points behind you, we were still chasing you. And now, we're in January, and it actually feels like there's a huge distance, and it's reflected in the points tally as well. I think it's double, what is it, like 13, 14 points? It's for a side that had the momentum with them, I feel like we've taken a step backwards. And I don't know, man, like, what's the outside in view for Spurs this season? Because in my head, for me, top 4 is in the balance now. Like, I was so sure that Spurs were going to get top 4 this season, but it's in the balance now. And it's scary to say that when you look at Man United with their lack of goals, you look at how dysfunctional Liverpool are, and yet I still can't say with conviction that Spurs are going to get top 4 right now, because it's just the performances over the last 2-3 months. It does not fill me with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's diabolical, and it's refreshing to say I've not really been keeping tabs on Spurs. The past few seasons, yes, but we're in a good spot. I don't really need to be looking at Spurs all the way down there, to be honest. But from what I've seen,
this is a joke.
Absolutely diabolical. Joke of a club.
You don't need to be like that.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, crybaby manager. He's a crybaby, but at the same time,
he's an elite manager. He's a world-class manager.
Yeah, well, world-class managers are world-class coaches. This guy...
He is a world-class coach.
If you need all the money in the world to build your team,
nope.
You are not a world-class.
He doesn't need all the money in the world. He needs good defenders. That's what he needs. He needs good defenders.
And then he'll get his good defenders, and next season he's going to complain about something else as well.
No.
But my view from Spurs on the outside looking in is it's been diabolical, but it's such a weird season. They're still only like 2 points off Newcastle.
Yeah.
Who people are heralding as revelation, incredible, Eddie Howe for manager of the year, but Spurs are only like 2 points off them.
Yeah, you say this, but we have obviously financially they have more resources, but we should be above them. We have a better squad. We have a better manager. Like, they have, using Newcastle's a great example because they've played better football than Spurs this season. They've got more results than Spurs this season. They've kept more clean sheets than Spurs this season. They have a way better defensive record. And they're scoring goals with players missing. We've had players missing, and we've just looked so dysfunctional.
That aids my argument. It's the coach.
No, I think he plays a part. No, he plays a
massive part.
Of course he does. So let's
said Eddie Howe has a lesser squad than Conte, scoring more goals and defending better than that's down to the coach.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the coach is culpable, and we can talk on Conte now because I feel like our issue is three-pronged, and we can start with the coach because you know how much I love Conte, but
Get panned, man. Bro.
I said it after the Aston Villa game. I don't think that this guy has performed to his expected standard this season. And the thing is, we talk about world-class coaches. What he did last year shows you why he's a world-class coach. He only signed 2 players in January. And he got us top 4 with a back 5 of Sessegnon, Emerson Royale, Davison Sanchez, Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, right? Because bear in mind, Romero missed the back end of the season, right? He got us top 4 with that defence. But I feel like this season, he's just not maximised what he's been given. Like, we'll talk about Enoch and some of the poor players we have, but I think as a manager, some of the decisions he's made, the way we set up against sides, the lack of rotation in the midfield and in attack, I just think he's made a dog's dinner of a lot of our matches this season. And even in his substitutions, his in-game management has not been to the standard that I expect.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think like Spurs fans. I find it ludicrous. Spurs fans are basically making it as if he's the victim.
He is a victim, though.
Oh, poor Conte. He's not had enough money. Oh,
He is a victim.
oh
We'll talk
no,
about this.
He's not had his 300 million to spend on this. Well, he's a coach. Coach your team. You coached them to 4th, right? Last season, you did such a great job. Coach your team. Like, stop! Don't throw your toys out the pram. Use what you've got and coach your team to play well. Like the slow start you've had the slow start you had this season. What's that got to do with buying a centre back? That's all.
Yeah, that's down to the manager.
Like,
That's down.
Spurs systemically are poor this season.
I agree.
And system issues are all about coaches. It's not. Yes, personnel plays a small part, but it's a system issue.
It's definitely a system issue, but I don't agree that it's all down to the coach. And as we've spoken, Conte definitely deserves criticism this season, right? But in the end of the day, we know what this guy's about, and you said it yourself. Despite the poor performances, etc., we're still 5th,
Yeah,
and we're still within a good chance of getting top 4. Okay, granted, we've gone backwards in comparison to what our initial aspirations were for the season, but we're still in the Champions League, still in the FA Cup as well. So let's speak on the personnel, because you say, oh yeah, he's throwing his toys out the pram. That's what he is. We hired him as a manager who was notorious for throwing his toys out the pram when he doesn't get his way. So do you not then think that it's in whichever club's best interest that have hired Conte to give this guy what he needs to do his job effectively? Do you not agree with that?
Yeah, I do, but ultimately a good coach makes the most of the resources put in front of him. And this was Arsene Wenger, and this guy was pulling out 4th place finishes, 3rd place finishes, 2nd place finishes. People were hounding him. People were berating him. No. Oh, this guy, wash coach. But look at what he was doing with players like Justin Hoy, players like Armand Traore. But like this guy, he's got.
They weren't regulars. Let's be real. They weren't regulars,
matter,
man.
but like,
Come on.
Okay, Denilson in midfield, centre mid.
He was all right.
Come off it. You guys got Højbjerg, one of the good player, Bentancur, Harry Kane, Sung, who's playing terribly, Richarlison, Brian Hill. You spent a lot of money on. Like, you guys have spent a lot of money. It's not a team that's up to scratch, but he's got enough to do a lot better than he's doing this season. I'm not having it.
I agree.
I'm not having it.
No,
he has to shoulder 85% of the blame.
I disagree with 85%. I massively disagree with 85%. I think we've missed a lot of key players this season. Kulusevski's missed a lot of football. Richarlison's missed a lot of football. Bentancur has missed. He's not been available since the.
Isak has missed football this season for Newcastle.
Yeah, no, and that's why we're lauding it. That's why we've lauded Eddie Howe and we're criticising Conte. But I'm saying the portion of the blame. You talk about getting the best out of your players. How much more can you get out of the likes of Eric Dyer, the likes of Japhet Tanganga, the likes of Davison Sanchez?
They shouldn't be playing.
But what other option do we have? And you say they shouldn't be playing. So then we talk about how he's been given X, Y, Z. You're saying they shouldn't be playing. Who should play instead of them? Who do we have?
They should have bought a centre back. I wouldn't have.
Okay then. And do you? And
I wouldn't have spent 60 M's on Richarlison.
but we need an attacker.
Yeah,
If
I
we
would have prioritised my defence and bought myself a cheeky attack on loan.
a cheeky attacker on loan, right? You're saying a cheeky attack on loan. Look at the amount of attackers that we've had injured this season. I think we've probably had maybe a maximum, and I'm making this up here. Apologies, people. I'm making this up here. We've had probably like a maximum of maybe like 5 6 weeks out of this season where all of our attackers, in fact, where 80% of our attackers have been fit. Mora, who's a scrub, he's been missing for practically the whole season. I've spoken about Kulusevski. I'm now speaking Richarlison. Richarlison, a big money signing, he's basically missed around like 7 or 8 weeks worth of football this season. So these are big blows that he's having to deal with, right? And on the defence point as well, you say the defence, how much more quality can you squeeze out of the likes of, as I said, Dyer, Sanchez, Emerson Royale? At what point do we say that these players need to be moved on? We knew all summer Spurs needed 2 centre-backs. That was highly spoken about, highly touted. Looking at Guardiola, looking at Bastoni, okay, if you can't get those 2 players, get us good centre-backs that can start.
That's fair enough.
We know a manager, the thing is, we say the issues are systemic, 100%, and Conte's lack of flexibility has killed us this season. But we know that this was the same system that got Spurs top 4 last year. And rather, you say, even if you say narrowly, what does Arteta have at Arsenal? He has a club that are completely pulling in his direction. Any decision he makes, they back him. What does Eddie Howe have at Newcastle? He has a club that are pulling in his direction. What does Eric Ten Hag have at United? A club that are pulling in his direction. Can you honestly say that Spurs are doing everything in their power to make Conte a success at this club? The answer is no.
No, but at the same time,
The answer is
just
no.
like Spurs need to know who they're bringing in. He needs to know the type of club he's signing up for.
I agree.
So,
But
like,
do you honestly think a manager of Conte's standing and his reputation would sign for a club without certain guarantees or assurances? Really and truly, this is a guy who left Inter Milan when they said we're turning the money trainer off. He left. So I don't want to get into this debate because we've accepted that Conte is culpable, but we cannot let the people who have owned this club and have gone through Conte, sacked Pochettino, sacked Mourinho, sacked Martignol, sacked Harry Redknapp, have gone through a multitude of managers and still can't get it right. What does that say about them? Their time is up. Their time is up for me.
True.
And right now, as poor as Conte has done this season, I would rather see him get the players that he needs to make this a successful Spurs side than get rid of him and bring in another manager who's probably half his weight in gold.
So you reckon another manager doesn't come in and coach the team to play better, to get more points?
I think he could.
I think so.
I think he could. I think he could. But how? We've seen this. There's always an up and there's a down. Not Spurs. Yeah, in the last 3-4 years. Yeah, I've not had a 12-month period where I've been happy. It's always been 6 months old, we're good, and then 6 months poor.
12 months for like your whole life.
Don't be silly. We had good times on the Pochettino. We had good times on the Pochettino. But listen, we're deviating from the topic at hand. Let's get back onto the game. I've got to be real. We've got potentially Kulusevski. I think he might be coming back into the team. Bentancur coming back into the team. But I'll say it. So I think those guys are going to play, but I'll say it straight. If those guys do not play, Spurs are going to lose this game. And this is unlike me to say this in this game. I always back us to win. But if those 2 guys do not play in this fixture, we're going to lose. And what concerns me about this game is we are a side that struggle with teams who have an organised press. You've been probably...
Fast starters as well.
Exactly, and fast starters. You guys are probably probably alongside Newcastle and Man City, have been the most well-drilled team this season, off the ball and on the ball. What are your expectations in terms of how this game is going to go?
Same as always, Arsenal. Fast start, get the goal, capitalise on it. Spurs will give you an opportunity within the first half to assert your dominance in the match, and I think Arsenal need to make that count. I honestly expect us to score, but I think we need to win this game by 2 goals because I just know that Jamie, vice captain of yours, is going to score. He always scores against Arsenal. Typical. You could give him 10 penalties for England, he'll miss the second one. Give him 100 penalties against Arsenal, he's slapping.
There's no need to dig out Harry Kane.
No, I am. But like,
okay,
I suspect.
Fine, dig him out all you want. He's going to score against you.
Yeah,
on
no, he
Sunday.
will. That's why I suspect we're going to need to win this by 2 goals because we're playing well, but it's a derby. Anything can happen in a derby. And you guys have a really good home record against us the past few seasons. So I see us winning it, hopefully 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, we need an early 2-goal lead, half time. We need that. We need to kill the noise here, get the fans booing Spurs off at half time. That's what we need. No,
this is a man that's been watching our games this season.
No, that's literally what we need. We don't need the crowd to back you guys, and we can do that with a nice 2-goal spell in the first half.
Do you think that we can take inspiration though from how Newcastle played against you in this game?
Yes, I think so. But that's
And second of all, as much as you criticised him, if Spurs are to win, do you not think that Conte is the type of manager that will deliver us a result?
Yeah, that's why I say I think you can take confidence from Newcastle because Conte, he has this annoying knack of doing this since Spurs doing this, but like the big game occasion, like ourselves or Man City, don't like Spurs will rise to the occasion. So that's why I'm not expecting an easy match. You think you're going to get rolled over, but it's not going to be an easy match.
I actually think it's gonna be closer than what people expect. But to be honest, our record against the big sides this season again doesn't fill me with confidence. I can count. I don't think I can count one good performance we've put in against any of the top 6 sides we've played this season. Not one.
Change against us.
So listen, it has to change. Something has to give. If we're serious about getting top 4, if Conte is invested in the here and now and wants to make us as much of a success, then we need to see something different this Sunday. Me personally, you've predicted 3-1. The pessimist in me, if Kulusevski and Bentancur are fit and available, I'm going to go for a draw. But at home, I'm recording outside the ground, I have to back the team. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Spurs. Call me deluded. It's hopeful as opposed to expected based on how this season has gone. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Spurs. And let's see how it goes, man. But, bro, thank you for coming, man. People, this preview is coming to an end. But make sure you smash a like on this video as well. Keep an eye out for some of the content that me and Tosin are going to be doing this week as well. Any thoughts, any additional comments, just drop them below as well.